How we doing?
Great.
Doing good.
We're
man.
with you.
We're with you.
Yeah, hanging out with you.
So, other night, I'm at a party.
Oh.
September comes on, and the DJ decides to mix some techno in with it. Pissed everybody off. They were like, hey, they don't need no help. Just play the song. Just play. The audience, we were in Salt Lake also gay. They were hot. They were like, hey, man, take the techno off. We don't need you add nothing to it.
That's good. That's good.
They were like, you can't be messing up classics.
That is good.
I cracked up laughing.
Hey, did you say that's right? Did you tell them that's right?
Oh, no, absolutely. I was hot too. Because I was like, what you doing? Because we were sitting there, I was like, am I the only one? That's September, right?
Right.
They were like, yeah. I said, what the hell is the other stuff with it?
Yeah, yeah.
I said, we don't need that.
But that's the problem. You know, it's a kind of a problem that we have with just trying to do, you know, something else, because, you know, it's like in the music, the way we did it is in the DNA of the people, you know, and so like you try to step outside of it, it's challenging.
They're not having
it because like
not having it.
No, what?
Give us the pure hit.
I've had more. So Prince always talked about that. Numerous artists have talked about just being locked in because songs were just so elevated that folk like, I can hear that 100 times. They do not care. They do not care. And so they ain't trying to hear. I'm at a Frankie Beverly Mays concert, and Frankie says, we working on some new stuff. The audience bust out laughing. The audience bust out laughing. They were like, yeah, okay, Frankie, that's right. Man, go on sing Join Pain. They did not want to hear nothing about no new music.
I get it. I mean, just when you said that, you know what I'm saying? Because I want to hear Joy and Pain.
See?
You know,
Right.
you know, I get it. You know, I want to hear Joy and Pain. You know, I mean, I respect you doing new stuff, but please do Joy and Pain.
See right there.
Right.
See?
Right.
Just like what Philip just said, it's in their DNA. You know, you hear these great songs and songs that you love, that you grew up with. You hear them everywhere, and they just resonate with people.
We're not, you know, Roland, we're not really busting our brains trying to figure out how to do a new record. Not really. Because when we go out on tour, they just want to hear the hits. They want to hear the stuff they grew up with, and that's what they're comfortable with. That's what they're digging. And so that's what we give them.
And it's only 90 minutes.
Yeah.
You only got 90 minutes max, you know, because there's a curfew. So, you know, it's not like, you know, we can say, okay, well, we're going to just play 3 hours.
Right. There's overtime too.
Yeah, absolutely. There you go.
That's overtime.
We got to pay overtime for
That's
it.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
But that has to be. I mean, look. The reality is, when you're an artist, you still got other stuff in you.
that's true.
So you want to you want to flex that, and you want to show that there's stuff that we can do. Charlie Wilson talks about. He said, "Look, I'm old school and new school.
Yeah.
And always wanting to do something else, but at the end of the day, you got to give the folk what they want."
Yeah, but
Right.
the beauty of it is too, though, if you're lucky to have a hit record. I mean, that's not easy to get.
There you go.
You know how many people would love to have records that people say, oh, I grew up on your records. You know?
Yeah.
We talk about
Charlie's
it all
really
the time.
fortunate, though. I'm sorry, not to cut you off. Charlie's really fortunate because he's made some great records, you know, in new records.
Yep.
Right.
You know,
Yes.
they're really compatible with the stuff they did before.
I mean, y'all have, what was it last time we talked? Someone told y'all, well, was it one every 90 seconds?
What is it, Rob?
A Earth, Wind, and Fire song is played somewhere around the world?
Yeah, I think it's every 1 minute and
15, right?
30 seconds or
30
something
seconds.
like that. An Earth, Wind, and Fire tune is being played on the radio on the globe somewhere. So I guess that's 24 hours of Earth, Wind on the planet Earth, I guess.
That is
You know.
crazy. That is crazy.
It's a good problem to have.
Oh, yeah. No, it's a good problem to have. Because it's so many people. I had a discussion the other day, and we were talking about, do you want to have that short, massive success, or do you want that long term? And I just still think, when you think about Otis Williams, the last surviving Temptation, and even though he's the last original Temptation, audiences still want to hear that sound. They want to see those steps. When the Queen was alive, Aretha Franklin, when Patti LaBelle performs, and again, folk, they still, to your point, They're remembering where they were. They're remembering how they grew up. It was prom. It was first time they made love. It was whatever. It was whatever. And music is always associated with those hallmarks or those points in our lives.
Do you think those days are gone though? I mean, just in the climate that we're in, because before music took up the space was there for the music to take up so much a part of our lives and stuff, people's lives. Now it's just a real small slice because of everything else, all the other digital
No, I think here's the deal. I think out of all the influences, the reality is music is separate and distinct from everything else. Because at the end of the day, it's everywhere. Television is not everywhere. But I don't, so whether you're in the car, whether you're at the party, music is going to be there. In fact, so I'm leaving a place, and they said, well, we're going over to this hotel. And we said, okay, is it an after party or is it folk hanging out in the lobby? And then they said, I don't know. Then somebody said, oh, they have a DJ. We went, it's an after party. We were not interested in the hangout in the lobby part. No, it had to be music there. So that's why, and I think even some artists today, their song with the party, again, a Beyonce song comes on, Too Short comes on. There still are songs that, boom, they hit, and then the crowd would jump up and go out there and start dancing. I think music is just ubiquitous. I mean, I don't care where you go. I don't care where you go.
It is everywhere, and you can't get away from it. It's all over the planet, and long after we're gone, it'll still be all over the planet. You know, it's just one of those things, man. It's just all-consuming. That's what music is.
I saw it was a TikTok video. It was absolutely hilarious. I don't know if these guys were it was one of the Middle Eastern countries. And it was all men, and they were doing this particular dance as part of their culture, but they were dancing. It was to a hip hop song, and it was absolutely hilarious watching it, because again, it shows you just that influence and how it goes around the world. Now we were looking at how Afrobeats has just exploded.
Yeah.
And how more? Because I remember when DJs would play it, cats would be like, "Yo, man, what you doing?" Now it's a huge part of any party or any outing, and how it's now just impact the sound.
Do you think it's a part of our collective consciousness as African people, though, in terms of kind of more emerging and coming together?
First of all, I think what you have is, because Africa, 7 of the 10 fastest growing economies. 2, it's the youngest continent. And now what you're seeing is because I was having this conversation the other day with Talib Kweli and Jimmy Jam as well. So what has happened is all of those young artists were impacted by your sound or the sounds of hip hop, and then they created their own unique sound. And now, because what Talib said is that cats here wouldn't embrace them initially, so they took the same sound, create their own sound, and now they're being embraced. So basically, it's reverberating. So it goes around, do their thing, and then it comes back to us.
Right.
We now embrace it, and then now all of a sudden, it goes from here. And then I think because of the music, it's causing people to say, "Let me find out more about that artist, that country, that culture."
Right.
So that's why I think the power, to your point earlier, the power of music. It causes you to be now, who is that? Or where are they from? Let me find more about it. And now there are people who are traveling to the places. What Ghana has done with Afrochella and the Black Star Festival. And now you literally have more people here saying, I now want to go to those places to experience the music and the culture versus everybody just coming to my city.
You know what's interesting? We talked about Charlie Wilson. We talked about Gladys, Aretha, us. You know, we've all had careers like 50 years in, right? Now, hip hop now is 50 years old.
Yes, 50 years old
Now it's
this
50
year.
years old this year. So it's amazing how now it's almost like you hit that 50-year mark, if you can, for everybody to really get it. You know, it takes almost 50 years for the whole world to get it 3 or 4 times. Because now we have 5 generations now. You know, and now you have younger people that are just now getting turned on to all of us.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase, and I'm here with a very important message. We are at a turning point in the Black community where we must have equity in the apps we use that scale to billions of dollars. But this time, we own the infrastructure, we own the culture, and we shape the future. And Fanbase is the future. Fanbase combines the free functionality of Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube into an all-in-one platform built for the evolution of social media and monetization. With over 1.4 million users, that's real proof that we are shifting the conversation of tech ownership and equity for creators. So right now, I want you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase at $665 a share. This marks a turning point in Black ownership of social media. If we don't take this opportunity to own social media right now, we will always be customers to our own creations. And that can't go on. So once again, go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. We must own the platforms where our voices live, our stories matter, and where our culture drives the world. Thank you.
I love to see the multi-generational aspect. When you're at the concert, I just saw Lionel Richie in Vegas, and that was these young kids, and he was just loving because the young kids knew about him from American Idol. And so, he was like, here I'm 70, 71. He said, and it's a whole new generation who had never heard of Lionel Richie, but because of American Idol, they're now listening to his music. For y'all, when you're on that stage, or when you're and you're seeing 2 and 3 or 4 generations in the audience, that's got to speak to you about the power of what y'all have accomplished.
Oh, most definitely. I think we were doing our show before our tour, before our break, and remember, I was watching this kid. I could not take my eyes off him because he was about 9 or so. He was sitting in the front row with
over on the right-hand side. Yes.
I was amazed that this kid knew everything, and I was like tripping to see how many songs this kid actually knew.
And he knew them all.
And he knew them all. We had to go over there and bring him on stage and take a picture with him, you know, at the end of the show and stuff, because it was just that amazing. It's like, this is crazy.
You know, the music travels everywhere. You know, like what Philip was saying, seeing this young kid, then you hear our songs on commercials, cold commercials. Then you have the younger ones that hear our music in animation.
See, that's all I'm about to say.
Right.
Because look, me and my wife, we raised 6 nieces. I was like, listen, you can do the animation stuff. She would take them to see animated movie. I said, I ain't gonna see no animated movie. I said, y'all tell me about it later. But it was crazy, the number of old school music that they knew. They were like, oh yeah, that was a Toy Story. I'm like, the hell you talking about? That wasn't no damn Toy Story. I'm like, that, but they were associating the music with the animated movies.
That's right.
The cool thing is, Roland, that when we were coming up and we were in our 20s, those people that were in college went on and got married, and they had kids. And now those people that grew up with us are bringing their grandkids to see us.
Right.
You know, and it's just a real good feeling when you look out and see that in the audience.
Yeah, the weekend that Trolls came out, we had songs in the #1, #2 movie, Doctor Strange, and Trolls in the same weekend.
That is wild.
And another generation that probably never saw us, but they heard the music.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that's, I think, what the power of music is. I may never have seen that person, never went to a concert, but I know them, I feel them because I hear it. And see, for me, look, every generation, you really listen to the music of your parents because, frankly, whatever they played. And I think the biggest thing for me is like I hate, and I see it all the time, where obviously now with the headphones and the AirPods and everything like that, you have kids who are in their own world. And for me, the problem is they're not experiencing other music forms. And so like for my nieces, they get in my car, be like, yo, headphones off. And then they were going, I don't want to hear what you have to hear. Not a problem. Trust me, these speakers will overpower whatever the earbuds you got in your ear.
Yes.
So you about to hear what I'm listening to. They were like, Roro, why you gotta listen to music so loud? I said, music was supposed, I said, it was made to listen to it loud. I said, I ain't never heard of music intended to listen to it on like 2 or 3. I said, does the dial go to 10? I said, I listen to between 8 and 10.
Right.
I would blow out their little AirPods, and they just get all frustrated. I'm like, yep, you're gonna listen to this Bill Withers right now. That's what you're gonna listen to. That's what you're gonna listen to.
Who is that, right?
And that's exactly what happened.
That's right.
They were listening, and they asked me to put Bill Withers on their iPod.
Right.
And I said, if you never experience it, then bottom line is you'll never know something that's different.
Right.
And then plus, hell, from a sampling standpoint, I'm like, you listen to Earth, Wind & Fire and James Brown anyway.
Right.
I said, if folk getting sampled, I said, it's happening all the time.
You know, when we did Versus, that was the first time that a lot of the young people had heard our music fully.
Yes.
They only heard about it through sampling.
Yes.
You know?
Now I watched that. That was absolutely hilarious. They were killing your boy Steve. When y'all got together, first of all, it was awesome watching y'all and the Isley Brothers.
Ronnie.
First of all, I loved all the stuff before because people got mad at me. They were like, I can't believe you said that Earth, Wind & Fire is going to have a deeper catalog than the Isley Brothers. I was like, y'all calm down. I said, y'all getting all personal. It was just hilarious just watching the folk taking sides as to who they thought was going to do this and do that. But it looked like y'all were having way too much fun up there.
I think we were supposed to only be up an hour, Philip, and then we had to go back, Swiss Beats, and Tim
It wound up being like, what, 3 hours, was it?
You can't play y'all music and the Isley Brothers music for no doggone hour.
No, you can't.
I learned so much stuff. I learned a lot of things that I didn't even know about the Isley. So
You mean the backstories?
yeah, backstories and who wrote what and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
See, that's what I thought was really more interesting about it than just the music. Learning those different things. I mean, it was sort of like, you know, like an interview or any sort of process, because you're like, yo, seriously? That person, or where something was recorded, or who did this, or how they accidentally appeared on this. I always love those stories because it gives you, to me, more flavor and context.
We had 5 million people that night. 5 million. It was crazy. It was really crazy, and it brought a lot of people together. It was on Easter Sunday, and everybody was at home watching at the same time.
Yep.
You know, so that was really a great experience for us. You know?
And y'all phones were blowing up.
Oh yeah, my neighbors were saying, "Saw you on Versus, saw you on Versus." The mailman said, "Saw you on Versus." Yeah.
I was texting y'all, kill it.
That's right.
Kill it.
That's right. You said,
I was
kill
like,
it. That's right.
kill it.
Right.
Kill it.
We had a lot of fun. It was a good mix. It was the right 2 groups. You know, I mean, groups that had a stack of hits, large catalogs, and a great history. So it was the right 2 groups.
So I'm gonna see if y'all remember this story. So B.B. King passed away, and I interviewed Lionel Richie, and he said the 3 of y'all were on a show in D.C. And he said the Commodores and Earth, Wind & Fire were arguing about who was going, what the pecking order was gonna be. He said, BB said, guys, look, there's an early flight out to Memphis. So let me go ahead and go out, then y'all go ahead and figure that out. He said, BB will let Amp out there and just destroyed the stage. He said, then the argument was, okay, who gonna have to go behind that? He was like, he said the whole conversation, he said, BB just went out there and just killed it. He said, then we were all like, no, y'all go next. No, I ain't following what that old man just did.
Right.
We had several opportunities to work on the same stage with him. And just, I mean, even up in age, that man's magic was just incredible. And, you know, and such a great person, just a beautiful heart.
Very warm, very warm. Yeah.
Yeah. We have some DC. Tell them what happened in DC back in the day, Slick.
Oh, you don't want to hear the story, do you?
Yes, we do.
Oh man, the first time we hit DC, excuse me, we played the DC Armory. And so we went out there, did our thing. You know, we were the flower children from LA, love, peace, and granola. And following us were the Funkadelics. And man, you know, at that time, the Funkadelics owned DC. And man, let me tell you something. We finished our set, we back there getting dressed. Their band goes up and they started this groove, man. And that groove was like, man, all the heads in the audience, the smoke was going, and out they came with a trail of smoke behind them, and they proceeded to kill. And it was at that point, Marie said, that ain't never gonna happen again. Man, we came back to LA and rehearsed, and finally the band gelled. And boy, the next time we saw them, it was a different thing.
It was different.
But we never forgot that moment in DC, the first time we played at the DC Armory, never.
No, it was etched in our...
Oh man, because I still hear that groove.
So
that's when it was
right,
Chocolate City.
I can still hear that.
Oh man.
They brought that funk.
We still never forgot when we saw George. we reminded George, and we were all laughing backstage. He came to our concert, and we were laughing, you know. And
because that was a moment.
It was Chocolate City too.
Yeah. It was a moment. It was a real moment.
It was a moment.
A life-changing moment.
to me, that's why it trips me out when I hear really great artists not wanting other great artists to be on tour with them. Because I love when I've interviewed the OJs and others, talk about how other groups push them and force them to greatness, if you will, because they said, we're gonna bring this thing tonight and y'all gonna have to bring it too. And to your point, cause you to say, yeah, that ain't gonna happen again.
Right.
We gonna have to go work on this thing and bring it back. To me, when you hear the phrase, iron sharpens iron.
Yes.
I mean, why have somebody who's frankly is lesser than just to show that, okay, I'm better? No. To me, you want somebody on the other side pushing you to go there.
Yes. Well, they pushed us. And we went back to LA and got it together. They pushed us hard, you know.
Who would you say, again, when y'all were out there, somebody else who, if y'all saw it, y'all were like,
Don't even have to think about it. The Gap Band.
Gap, really?
Oh yeah.
Don't even have to think about it.
Yeah.
Don't even have to think about it. It's like, you don't want to follow the Gap Band.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't want to follow Charlie today.
Right.
Yes.
Right now.
You don't.
Yeah.
Right.
We just did well, not just, but like before COVID, we did a festival, and North Sea Jazz Festival,
Right.
and Charlie was on the gig with us. When they told me that we was doing it, I said, and you know we going before. I said, or we ain't doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
So let me tell you about Uncle Charlie. So for years, they had him next to last at Essence.
Oh, that's hard.
No, he was pissed. I'm talking about he was.
Oh, he wanted to be last?
He was, yes. He was hot. And he was like, the hell I gotta do to close? And I was sitting there, man. And again, Lionel's my frat. He did a great show. Man, when Uncle Charlie finished,
Yeah, there's nothing.
Right, there's nothing left.
Right.
them cats started leaving, and they were like, and I remember the next day reports, their stories, they were like, oh my goodness, folks walked down Lionel Richie. I was like, y'all, I said, y'all, I was there.
Right.
I said, I was there. I said, because I interviewed Lionel. I said, no, I said, it was just, when he did was Jazz in the Garden. Don't ask me why Lauryn Hill insisted on closing.
What?
Yeah. You know, you brought up something.
Now you know she's gonna be late anyway.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
bruh, it was 30, they told me, they said it was 35,000 people there. When she came on, it was 10. They said Uncle Charlie just destroyed that stage. I was like, I don't know what she was thinking. That's like a comedian saying, oh, I follow Bernie Mac.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
Right.
Right.
I don't advise you. Go ahead, you about to say something?
You know, we were going back a little bit. We were talking about artists. You know, back in the day, when you had records, almost every album was great by everybody. Now you maybe get 2 or 3 albums every 4 or 5 years that's really good. But
First of all, very few folk got 2, 3 albums. Like, kill me when somebody got 2 albums and they put a greatest hits. I'm like,
Right.
what the hell you
Right,
got?
right.
You ain't got enough.
Right.
You ain't got no catalog for no greatest hits.
Right.
You can't do a greatest hits if you only had 2 albums.
But see, we would go buy other artists' records and listen to them in the hotel room. We'd be on the road. You know, that's how great all the artists were. We talking about pushing each other, you know. But a lot of the records were just great. I mean, really great, you know. And we were buying them, listening to them ourselves.
Growing up, favorite artists. You love their sound.
You know what? I listened to a lot of female vocalists when I was growing up. Because I don't know, it was that emotion. Because I listened to of course Aretha and a lot of jazz, Sarah Vaughan and a lot of jazz I listened to, and I think it's probably because they just that passion, that emotional passion and stuff. And that's how I developed my falsetto, actually mimicking those songs and stuff. And I didn't know it was a falsetto until I was playing at a club and a vocal teacher was there and said, you know, yeah, you have a great falsetto. I said, what's that?
Like, what's that?
For me, it was everything Motown. Man, I fell in love with Motown music, especially the Four Tops. I love and the sound of Levi Stubbs' voice, but also the bass playing of James Jamerson.
Mm-hmm.
I would listen to a Motown record and hear that bass and go, man, how's he doing that? And then by the time I was 14, I got turned on to jazz, and it went on from there. I just expanded from there, because in Los Angeles at that time, this is around 1965, LA had a 24-hour jazz station. It was KBCA 105.1. And I started listening to the Jocks and fell in love with their presentations and their voices. I was like, man, that's a cool thing, you know, so, yeah.
You're out of Chicago. Of course, we listen to a lot of jazz, a lot of Miles Davis. My mother was a big Lou Rawls fan, you know, coming out of Chicago.
Oh yeah. Lou.
And I listened to the Beatles, right? And then Maurice was you're talking about Chess Records earlier. Maurice was the drummer on a lot of those records on Chess Records. So he would bring home the 45s before the records came out. They would record the records on Monday, they'd be out on Friday. But he'd bring home the masters. So we listened to a lot of different kind of records.
The thing about we talk about musical influences. So you mentioned Motown.
Yes.
One of the things, the moment you mentioned that, I thought about something that Jimmy Jam told me, and I think y'all music is very similar. Motown, they really understood, from a musical standpoint, that first 10 to 15 seconds, that when that song come on, you knew exactly what it was.
That's right.
You were in it.
Right.
And
Yes.
and I think y'all's music is the exact same way. When you hear that, like, you don't have to sit there and let it go for 30 seconds to figure out, like, literally within that first 5 or so seconds, that opening is so distinctive that you know exactly what that song is.
Well, the other thing about Motown was they had great songwriters. They had Ashford and Simpson. Okay, they had Smokey Robinson.
Right.
Okay, and Holland Dozier and Holland. You could stop right there and just come up with a stack of hits. You know,
Ashford and Simpson.
yeah,
Right,
Yeah.
That's right, Nick
I mean,
Val.
come on,
Right,
yeah,
right.
Ashford and Simpson, man. All that Tammy Terrell and Marvin Gaye stuff,
Right.
Ashford and Simpson.
Right.
You know, all the Supreme stuff, Holland Dozier Holland. You know, Marvin Gaye was one of their writers also. You know, so they had great songwriters at Motown.
And you know, Motown was billed as the sound of America. That was their tagline.
It was a soundtrack. I mean, you know, come on. We're surrounded by Motown coming up in the 60s.
What's up, y'all? Look, Fanbase is more than a platform. It's a movement to empower creators, offering a unique opportunity for everyday people to invest in Black-owned tech, infrastructure, and help shape the future of social media. Investing in technology is essential for creating long-term wealth and influence in the digital age. The Black community must not only consume tech, we must own it.
Discover how equity crowdfunding can serve as a powerful tool for funding Black businesses, allowing entrepreneurs to raise capital directly through their community through the Jobs Act.
What has made y'all so distinctive is that it is still a band. It's not an artificial creation. It's not. And so there's something about the horns. There's something about, like, there's one song that I love that most people, I play, people like, man, what is that? Because because it literally is the intro, the song Sunday Morning.
Oh yeah.
Love that song because it's just, again, as soon as I hear, I mean, then it hits, ooh, Sunday morning, and just yeah. I mean, but that I still think when I'm listening to a song and there's a band, or as Jeffrey Osborne talked about, he said how they use strings in the orchestra. He said to change the music. It just gives, it's a whole different, to me, a different texture to the song than what a lot of stuff that I actually hear today.
Well, that's why we like the Bowl, the Hollywood Bowl, because it's the real strings, you know, the way the records were recorded.
Well, we grew up listening to musicals and all that stuff. So it was in people's ears, arrangements and all that. It was in their ears. And so, you know, as bands came up, you know, it wasn't strange to hear, you know, different movements in a song and stuff. And you know, that's a lot different, you know, it has been, you know, for the last 50 years.
Earth, Wind & Fire was a band first. That's what it is. It is a band, but wait a minute. There's a bonus. We had two great vocalists, Philip Bailey and Maurice White. But it wasn't like, oh, we've got these vocalists and we need a band behind them to play.
Right.
It's not, it's never been that. It's a band. You know, it's all of us.
And in the middle of the show, y'all be playing different instruments. You play what?
Well, I'm a drummer initially,
Right.
but now I'm out front doing vocals and percussion.
Right.
And that's a whole nother story. You know.
I started with drums too.
Yeah.
Yep, 4th grade through college.
Yep.
And we know what you playing.
Yeah, exactly. But, you know, I was going to say, you know, Philip had mentioned us hearing movements. You know, we all come out of bands, and all the other artists that you interview came out of bands too. You know,
Right.
we had the nightclubs, we had a chance to incubate. You don't have as much time to incubate and formulate music as you once did. All of us from that era came out of bands,
So
out of nightclubs.
So I got to ask you this here. So I'm interviewing Jimmy Jam, and he said they were producing something for y'all, and they just could not get it was something. So he said that Maurice comes to the studio and literally sits in front of you, and he does some sort of move and then you literally mimic the move,
Right.
And it come out in the sound. And Jimmy Jam said he was blown away. He said because clearly y'all had come up with this nonverbal sort of way to follow one another. He said man, we were blown away. He said Maurice didn't say anything. He said he just sat there and would just look at you and would do something, and you would follow whatever movement he did, and it came through in how you played.
That's right. He would give me something with his eye. He said, do this, do that, and then it's right there, And we still do it, like on stage, because when you're together like that, it's almost a spiritual thing that you connect with.
Mm-hmm.
He would do that to me too, during vocals, leads or whatever. He was trying to get me to understand something, and he said, "Let me come out there."
That's the one. Let me come out there. Right. Yeah. Let me come out there.
And he would just come out there, and he would just sit there, and he would, okay, I got it. I understand what you're saying.
But he didn't say anything, but you knew what he was saying.
Yeah, but I knew, it's strange, we just spoke that language, because there's a lot of things that go beyond your vocal, ideas or ability to say, and we could communicate that way.
Now, how did y'all meet? How'd y'all come together?
In December of '71, I auditioned. I was playing at a club on Crenshaw Boulevard called Mavericks Flat with a group. And in December of '71, the guitar player of the group at that time, Michael Beale, called me and asked me if I wanted to audition for Earth, Wind. And so the audition was myself, Verdine, and Michael at his house up in Baldwin Hills. And it wasn't like he said, okay, learn these tunes, learn these tunes, learn these. He said, just come up, bring your drums, and we're just gonna jam. And that's what the three of us just jammed. And then after that, Dino called Maurice, and Maurice said, so what do you think? And what'd you say, Dino?
I said, man, he's bad, man. That's all. He bad, man.
Bad. But check this out. At that same club, long before the Earth Wind thing took off, I saw Philip play at the club. He was playing with a group called the Snowball Sisters. He was playing congas. He wasn't even vocalizing. So it's interesting, that 6 degrees of separation kind of thing,
And that's all you say, he bad.
That's what I said, he bad. He bad. That was it. Because we say, man, what do you sound like, man? How you sound? I said, he bad. And I called him right away.
The name.
That came from Maurice's astrological chart.
Yeah.
Because in his chart, he had earth, air, and fire. So he changed air to wind. It was from his personal astrological chart. Because in his chart, he didn't have any water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then, but your alternate name, The Elements.
That's just what the fans came.
Yeah,
that's kind of they put that on us. They
don't call us Earth and Fire. They call us the Fire.
And yeah, I was going to say they also call us the Fire.
Right. The Fire.
Right. Yeah, the Fire.
The Cats.
Well, most crew, one of the folks on my crew didn't know what the hell the Elements was, and we had to cuss.
Uh-oh. Wait a minute.
Yeah, we had to cuss him out.
Yeah, it's funny.
We had to cuss Anthony out. Like, the hell, you don't know what the Elements is. He's like, the Elements? We all look at each other like, man, we can't take you nowhere. Like, we ain't taking you out in public if you don't know what the Elements is.
Right. That's funny.
So no, I had to. No, because he's 35. Man, we sit here. What was it, Henry? He didn't know who Jeffrey Osborne was? He almost got his ass whooped right there. He almost got fired from the crew on that one right there. He's about to get his black card was in review status.
Review. The review.
We had to go to the committee for a hearing on that one. I had to put that one in review status.
J.O. was a drummer too. He was.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. When we interviewed him, he said that OJ's drummer flaked out or whatever, and he performed with them when they came to town, and they wanted to take him on tour. Mom was like, "Oh hell no, you ain't going on tour not with the OJs. But yeah.
Morris Day was a drummer too.
Yeah,
He was a drummer.
Morris Day's a drummer.
All y'all drummers go from drumming to the to the front of the stage.
Well, the thing
you know
about
what?
drums too. You go.
Okay, no, my story is very interesting in that, first off, I was quite comfortable being back on the drums. There were two of us, myself and Freddie White, may he rest in peace. So we had two drummers. So here we are filming Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. And we were about to do
music I love, a movie I love. I wouldn't go see it in the movie theater. Some people are like, oh, it was so campy. I liked it.
There you go.
I did.
And so we were about to do Got to Get You Into My Life. We covered the Beatles tune. And George Faison, who was our choreographer at that time, was looking at the camera shot. And you had Maurice and Phil out front. And he's looking, and then out of nowhere he says, Ralph, come down here. Take this microphone, stand next to Maurice.
And you like,
right, because I mean, I was happy on the drum. I keep telling people I was happy I never asked to be brought up front. I was cool on the drums. And it was
so
George.
the camera shot didn't look right. So
George said,
come fill this in.
Come fill this in. Gave me a microphone. And I've never been back on the drum since.
Right.
You know, yeah, that's how it happened.
That's crazy.
But that's the story.
And you like Sgt. Pepper, right?
I did.
Now,
it was
out of the movie, we were the only ones that had the big hit record out of there.
yes.
Got to Get You.
Yeah.
It's my life.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase, and I'm here with a very important message. We are at a turning point in the Black community where we must have equity in the apps we use that scale to billions of dollars. But this time, we own the infrastructure, we own the culture, and we shape the future. And Fanbase is the future. Fanbase combines the free functionality of Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube into an all-in-one platform built for the evolution of social media and monetization. With over 1.4 million users, that's real proof that we are shifting the conversation of tech ownership and equity for creators. So right now, I want you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase at $665 a share. This marks a turning point in Black ownership of social media. If we don't take this opportunity to own social media right now, we will always be customers to our own creations. And that can't go on. So once again, go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. We must own the platforms where our voices live, our stories matter, and where our culture drives the world. Thank you.
Now the outfits. Who was the driving force?
That was
Because Lord, y'all had
Bill Whitten.
y'all had some outfits.
Bill Whitten. He was a master, just really very, very talented.
Bill Whitten on Santa Monica Boulevard.
But did he ever bring some stuff y'all like? Say, Bill, I think you were high when you did these.
Well, he did. You know what? There was a set he sent out there one time. And Maurice did not dig it. And he sent them back. I remember that. We put it on. He's like, man, what? So, no, he said, yeah. One time Bill went a little out there. And Maurice said, no, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. But no, Bill, he's the man responsible for the look. That look we had. He was a master at it, man.
Well, see, I think that is what, again, when I think about what was so distinct, one, obviously sound was important. Two, you were in an era where there were bands left and right.
Yes.
I mean, you were competing against a lot of bands, especially all them cats out of Ohio.
Ohio players.
But the third piece, those bands, it was all about presentation. It was like, to me, it was like a movie set.
Yeah.
In terms of when you thought about the album covers and being on the stage. And so it was a whole show, not just dress regular, give me the microphone.
But you know, us being young men at the time, you know, really cutting our teeth on Earth, Wind, and Fire, you know, we had great mentors. First of all, we had a great leader with Maurice. We had the late Charles Stepney. We had George Faison. We had George Massenburg in the studio. So we were really surrounded by really great people at a young age to give us a great foundation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but that's true. I always liken it to a great franchise. You know, you got to have great people from all around, you know, all around from bottom to top. You know, and so like even with, you know, the writers, you know, Skip Scarborough and Jared Peters, and you know, it was one of those kind of situations where all of our lives collided at the right place, the right time.
And we were with the right record company that had the right president, Clive Davis. Clive loved us, and still today loves us.
Still does.
You know.
You know, when Clive walked in the room and then we were auditioning for him.
Yeah, we auditioned. We did a live audition, man. You know, it was really kind of, at that time, unheard of for a group to do a live audition for the actual president. Right. He would send his A&R guy out and say, look, go listen to this group. If you like what you hear, come back and talk to me about it. Clive, we were at Sunset Sound in Hollywood, and we had set up, we did a few tunes, and man, I will never forget it. Clive was leaving, and I was just happened to be standing by the door. He looked at me and said, I'll be in touch. Man, next thing I know, we were on CBS, and in 1972, he flew us to the CBS World Records Convention in London and presented us. And said, okay, this is the next thing. Everybody wrap your heads around it, because this is what's coming. And it just took off from there.
And you know, you talk about the Essence Festival and all those concerts, because after we signed with Clive and we went out and started doing arenas, it enabled the other groups to do arenas.
Right.
As you saw, you talked with Lionel, you talked with Jammin' Lewis, you know what I mean? It laid the groundwork for that era of those artists to do those type of concerts, you know?
We were talking about the business of the business before we started rolling. And when were y'all aware of that part? Because so many, I hate when I'm watching TV One's Unsung and it's the same story. Here, the rise, the fall, folks split up, folk get jealous, they get mad. I think, what was it, Rolls Royce? They mad because they thought that she was Rose and they got jealous of all that. And I'm sitting here like, are all y'all getting paid? Man, I don't give a damn who out there. Man, just go and cash those checks. And so I think that also, which goes to why you had the longevity, even those hits, because that didn't happen. That in terms of just that, you stayed together as opposed to the fracturing. How did y'all make sure you were constantly tight and you did not succumb to what so many other groups eventually went through?
Well, I think it, and I'm sure you're going to add something in, but I think it started with the leadership. Maurice was very fair in how he treated us. And, you know, he made sure the business was right. We had the right management, the right attorneys, drawing up the right contracts. And so I think it started with the leadership, you know, because he could have been a cutthroat kind of guy. I mean, you know, you got two ways to go. You can do the right thing or the wrong thing.
Like what Harold Melvin did to Teddy Pendergrass.
Okay, you know.
Yeah, that's all you get. It's like, Harold.
Right. So
what were you thinking?
It started with Maurice, man. He was just a very fair leader when it came to the business, you know.
I don't agree.
Okay, well,
go ahead.
No, I can't say that. I can't endorse that. I think that it was a matter of our personal journeys has gone through ups and downs, and you know, the way we found ourselves carrying on the legacy now for 30 years was because, you know, when Maurice became ill and he recognized that he wasn't going to be able to tour anymore, this was after our hiatus, which people say was a hiatus, but we really broke up. You know, I think that we've had to get over different things, different roads of forgiveness and all that kind of stuff. And some took things a lot more personal than others. It wasn't all hunky-dory. Everybody was done totally fairly. It was, you know, it was a journey, you know, and, you know, we, you know, at this point, carrying on the legacy for 30 years without Maurice, we've chose to not focus on certain things, but surely when we had a meeting at the complex, you know, unbeknownst to us that we were gonna put Earth, Wind and Fire, quote unquote, on the back burner, and things stopped, you know, checks stopped, you know, like I moved to Denver, you know, had to move to Denver. We didn't know what was going on. Life got real. You know, it got very.
And you know what? You become an adult.
Yeah.
And the one thing about it is, we, the three of us, were the same age, so we became adults together. I think most people become adults differently all over the place, but we became adults together. So when you see us, you're really seeing on stage now adults. You know, and we're like one person. The three of us are like one person.
I want to add to what Philip said, because imagine Earth, Wind and Fire having the success it was having, and then Maurice calls a meeting and says, okay, look, and I mean, this is out of nowhere. This is like, okay, we're having a meeting. And he says, okay, here's what's getting ready to happen. We're going to take a break with this, you know. So whatever you got to do it. But we're taking a break.
When was that?
That was 80.
Before 83, because I moved to Denver, and so I want to say 80, right? Like kind of like 80, 81, 80.
How long was
Early 80s. That was a good 6-year break.
Yeah. It wasn't a break. It was a breakup.
Right.
We broke up, and then Larkin Arnold was the one who was the catalyst of us even.
So he
talking.
just decided.
That's right. Yeah.
You
But
know,
like you said, Larkin was the one. Larkin Arnold.
Was it he burnt out?
Yeah, having looked back on it, because we were just, you know, we were on the train. He was driving the train. We didn't have all that experience or the burden of carrying that train.
So you hit 72.
You know, we were always on the road or touring or whatever. You know, so I think that it was a lot of emotional and psychological burnout. You know. But yeah, life got real.
Yes. But he was right about Larkin. Larkin was the catalyst, you know, and you know, Larkin was a A&R at Columbia Records, and Larkin knew the value. So he was actually the catalyst. You have to thank Larkin for that. You know?
So in those 6 years,
oh man,
you know,
like Philip said, real life set in, because you weren't prepared for what had just taken place. I wound up working, first off, on a construction site. Matter of fact, if you go right over here to Sepulveda and Santa Monica, there's a sports club, West LA. I know every foot of that building because I helped install the fire sprinkler system in that building. After I left there, I wound up selling stereo at Federated Stereo on Sunset and La Brea.
so you go from.
But wait, it gets better. I'm in the store. And I hear something on the radio. It was System of Survival.
right.
Now, I go, Earth, Wind and Fire. I said, man, they moved on without me. This was, you don't even understand. It was a mind thing at that point. And I'm writing a book and I talk about this in the book. But
So it was a new song.
But wait, who came to the store?
But okay, and that part 2 to that.
So it's a new song.
Yeah, new song.
Yeah, System of Survival. I'm hearing it on the radio. I was like, it was a gasp. It was like, I was like, oh man. And so, but wait a minute, part two, and this is where humility comes in. Because in walks Marilyn White, Maurice's wife. Now I see her walk in and I go, oh man, it's Marilyn. So, okay, a lesson from God. You can either man up and face it and deal with it, or you can go hide in the back in the storage room until she gets out the store. I'm serious.
Yep.
I said, okay, I'm gonna take the God path. I'm gonna get this humility thing together. I walked up to Marilyn, I said, how can I help you? She said, Ralph. I said, yeah, I'm working here at Federated Stereo. I said, how can I help you? She says, I'm looking for a keyboard for my son, Cabron.
Who owns the trademark?
Right, who now owns the trademark. I said, well, let me show you this, this, and this. She went on, she left out of there. Now, I think, and I have no way of confirming this, I think she went back and told Maurice, you know that Ralph Johnson is down there on Sunset and La Brea working at Federated? Because shortly after that, I get a call from Art McNow, and he says, hey man, we're putting it back together. Are you interested? I say, yeah, I'm definitely interested. And this is where, and this chapter in my book is going to be called Humility and Forgiveness. Because I could either come back with attitude, right, and say, oh man, you did me wrong, or I could just go, okay, let's turn the page. Let's turn the page and get with the new program.
And see, and that's where, I said earlier, we're adults. So when you see us on stage, you see all of that. That's really what makes it powerful. And like I said earlier, we grew up together, and we're the same age.
And it's not like y'all tapered off. Y'all were still in the pocket in those 10 years.
Well, not really.
But what I mean by that is you're still performing.
Yeah.
You're still traveling.
But you got to understand that was the Keith Sweat and them was hot. All right.
Right.
We went on tour. Is that right? We got back together. We went on tour. We thought, because some people were whispering, everybody's waiting for y'all. When we stopped, we had been playing stadiums and all that kind of stuff. Big, 20,000 seaters and all that kind of stuff. We rehearsed for like months. Hundreds of thousands of dollars, had a big production, all that kind of stuff. Went out on the road. There was like crickets, like 20,000 seat. It was like COVID.
Thank you. Hey, that's good.
Wow.
It was like COVID.
Right.
I can remember playing, like Buffalo, New York. That's the one that comes to mind. And, that big, and man, it was like, I'm telling you, it was like COVID. It was like COVID. And 18,000 seat place, and you got 3,000 people in there, and you got 7 semi trucks outside.
Right.
We lost so much money until we had to take a bud date. So we had to take some bud dates.
Right.
To try to offset, the loss of the, of the scratch and stuff. Yeah, it was, it was a different. It hasn't all been hunky-dory.
No.
Right. So when you see the Kennedy Center honors and all that stuff, we paid those dues to get right here. We built it right back here where now we're doing, of course, grading. People are coming 5 generations, but that was work to get from there, like what Philip said, there to here.
Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punch!
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?
I could not imagine you're doing the stadium, and then it just stops.
Crickets.
Yeah.
It was crickets.
Because we had been off for almost 5 years.
Thank you.
And
you're gone
and a
for
whole 5 years, and a whole different thing has happened.
That's half a generation.
That's right.
There's a lot of stuff happening in that
That's
5
right.
years.
And nobody comes back from where we were to here. Like, you know, we're talking about all the great concerts and all
Right.
the stuff that we're doing. Nobody's done what we've done. And so we had a second chapter where we rebuilt right where we're sitting now. So when we got those, as I said, Kennedy Center Honors, Smithsonian, all those great things, that was really what the dues we paid to get there. Because don't forget now, we're the only African-American group ever in history to get both of those awards in 2 different weekends.
Well, Tom Joyner is our hero.
Yeah.
Because he is the one that believed that we could still be relevant without Maurice.
Tom did, right.
And, you know, he was doing that show, and he came, you know, and put us on that show and, you know, endorsed, you know, what you see now, you know, and, you know, that's been 30 years ago.
And Sinbad too, when he put us on his Soul Festival on HBO. And a lot of those kids have never seen us. I think they played that festival 50 times because of Sinbad. Sinbad had come to the Pantages to see us. And he said, listen, man, I'm going to do this thing. I really need your help.
It's in Aruba.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
And what happened was he said, I need help. I need help. And so we helped put the money together to partner with him to do that festival on HBO. And the president of HBO played that Soul Festival about 50 times on kids who never ever saw us.
Right.
And it was the fall of '94 when we decided we were going to go out. And really it was a test to see if the public would accept us without Maurice. Because we didn't know. We were so used to being with Maurice.
Right.
So it was the fall of '94. We put together a 6
And he
week.
could never be replaced. There's no way
Right,
you're going
right.
to
You
get
can't
somebody
replace him.
like
So fall of '94.
But you got to recalibrate.
right.
Yeah, right. There you go.
But you know where we discovered it? I did a gig with Philip. I sat in on one of his shows in San Diego.
Yeah.
And I sat in with his band. And after we got off, they went crazy. And then he looked at me and said, we can do this. That was in '94. Before the fall. I went and sat in with him. Yeah.
Go ahead, Rob.
No, I was just going to say that during that period while we were off, Philip, there were 2 situations that happened that kind of restored my faith and let me know that I can still go forward. And one of them was Philip cut this fabulous album with Phil Collins, Chinese Wall. And I got a tune on there, which made so much difference financially for me. And then Al McKay came to me, and I thought he was joking at first. He says, he used to call me Slick. He said, Slick, I just got a call from Motown. They want me to do the Temptations. You want to do it with me? I said, yeah. And we got a hit out of that, Treat Her Like a Lady.
Right.
And so those 2 things, man, during that period when it all just had caved in, I said, okay, there is some hope.
That's right.
There is some hope.
So all those building blocks that you see now, those are the, led up to all of that, you know, where now you have a new generation. And as I said before, nobody's ever done that, to come back like this again.
This is interesting listening to y'all talk about all of that. I think about the conversations I've had with New Edition, and they've gone through ups and downs, and I know all those guys, and what I've said to them personally, and what I remember telling Johnny and Ralph and Michael as well. I was like, guys, y'all are our generation's Temptations. I said, and whatever stuff, whatever ups and downs, whatever, I said, let's just be clear. You will never be able to make as much money individually as you can as a group. I said, because it is just it's the power of the group and the music, and that's what people. And I said, and they absolutely. And I remember because they had a tour, and Michael asked me to do a video, and I actually said that. He was like, he says, man, he said, no one ever put it in those terms. I said, no, you. I said, those of us who, I said, you are our generation of Temptations. I said, and look, you're gonna go through stuff. I said, but the bottom line is, I said, they still doing that thing. They still booking shows. They still doing that thing. I said, so whatever little fight stuff y'all gotta go through, I was like, get that shit together and go back on that damn stage. And Uncle Charles told him the same thing. He's like, listen, the audience still is showing up. And they still want to hear you sing Candy Girl, and how they've now fused in their individual successes.
Right.
Y'all have done that. I mean, when your solo stuff, it's a part of the show. Is it because the reality is people still identify with that, and again, the audience says we still love all of it together.
Well, it becomes bigger than yourself, you know, and that's what happens. You know, that this entity becomes bigger than you're one person.
Right.
You know, it's no longer totally about you. It's about this thing that's taken on a life of its own.
Right. That's right. And you know what we do, you know, our thing being in a group, the nice thing about being in a group, you know who you're with, but also too, you sacrifice your individuality for the good of the entity.
It's like a basketball team or a football team. I mean, bottom line is you.
Not sacrifice, but you know.
It's team.
Right.
It's team, right.
Team player.
And there is
team player.
There is no I in team.
It's we.
But there is an I in win.
Wait a minute. I started laughing when you said that because when Shaq said, when Shaq said, ain't no I in team, he said, but it's an M and an E in that motherfucker.
Right. Yeah.
That's what Kobe said.
That's what Kobe said, right. Right.
Yeah.
Shaq still cracked him at that.
Hatred on the streets, a horrific scene, a white nationalist rally that descended into deadly violence.
White people are losing their damn minds.
As an angry pro-Trump mob storms the U.S. Capitol, we've seen shots.
We're about to see the rise of what I call white minority resistance. We have seen white folks in this country who simply cannot tolerate black folks voting.
I think what we're seeing is the inevitable result of violent denial.
This is part of American history. Every time that people of color have made progress, whether real or symbolic, there has been what Carol Anderson at Emory University calls white rage as a backlash.
This is the rise of the Proud Boys and the Boogaloo Boys. America, there's going to be more of this.
Here's all the Proud Boys, guys.
This country is getting increasingly racist in its behaviors and its attitudes because of the fear of white people.
The fear that they're taking our jobs, they're taking our resources, they're taking our women. This is white fear. I got to ask you this here, a couple questions now. Is there something that y'all always wanted to do that you haven't done? As a group or individually?
As a group, you mean outside of music?
You know, with us, things just happen. I think we get phone calls and things happen. Philip called, we get ready to do this. Ralph calls, we're gonna do Roland. That sort of happens with us, you know, it's that. I
At this point, no one could have dreamt that we would still be relevant 50 years later.
Right.
And at this point, you know, we're still healthy, having fun, and doing what we love, making people happy, you know, making good money. And, you know, we're just letting it come to us.
I have a bucket list. And one thing on that, and this has nothing to do with music. It has nothing to do with music. I'm a student pilot. And so one day, I would love to get a phone call saying that I can go fly with the Blue Angels.
Okay.
Because you got 80 hours, right?
I have 80 hours of flight time in a Piper Warrior. You know, I scuba dive. Matter of fact, I just came off a fantastic trip down in Cozumel, Mexico. All I did was scuba dive all week long. You know, and so, but.
And I almost lost my mind.
What? You was scuba diving?
You weren't worried, were you?
I was kind of worried.
Really? No,
but you sent me pictures though. Remember?
No, because he hasn't done it in a while. I knew he's been doing it forever.
Right,
you know?
right.
But then he said, "I'm gonna go coast." I'm like, "You were 71," you know.
Right.
You know, and he said, "So I'm going." Well, when's the last time you scuba dived?
It was 86.
He's like,
in Hawaii.
86.
And you know what?
I'm going.
The people that were running the dive operation said, well, I had to fill out a form. They said, well, wait a minute, you haven't been diving since 86. I said, yes, the last time. They said, okay, we're going to give you this refresher course right quick. You'll go out with one of our instructors. He's just going to check you out right quick. And then we'll know you're ready to take the deep dive. And so all week long I was diving, did some great dives.
You sent pictures to us, remember?
I've got video. I'll gladly send you the video so you can check it out.
I was happy when he said, "I'm on my way home."
You like, I'm back on land.
But yeah, but it was, you know what? But on the Roland, on the it's the best vacation I've ever had.
I'm good, bro. I'm good.
He came back with a beautiful tan.
I'm good.
It's best. That's.
I get great tans on the golf course.
I can dig it. I can see now.
I'm with you.
I'm good. Hey, see, when you went to scuba diving, I thought about what
That's my hardcore outdoor activity.
Boom, right there. I'm a land-based brother. You can keep that air stuff, all that hang glide, parachute.
Well, I ain't trying to hang glide, nor am I trying to skydive.
Dang,
I'm not trying to do that.
I'm a land-based brother.
I do want to go for a ride with the Blue Angels before I leave the planet. That would end it all right there.
I don't know who know the hook that
Call on your military friends.
I don't know. Hold up, wait a minute, hold up. You said that right? It's military.
That's
Hold
military.
up.
That's
I'm gonna send a text to the Secretary of Defense.
You wouldn't dare. What?
You think I'm?
He said, "Who you think I'm talking to?"
Who you think I'm talking to?
Oh my goodness! No, that would do it for me.
Who you think I'm talking to?
That would pretty much.
Lloyd.
I could wrap it up after that. There's no more adventure. There's no more adventurous stuff I want to do after that.
Hold on one second. Let me see if he answered the phone. So shoot. So the Secretary of Defense is an archon. We're in the same chapter.
Really?
Yes. See if he pick up. I'm leaving a voicemail. See, I knew that's probably, I thought, hold up, that is military.
It's military all day long.
And he is.
This is Lloyd Austin. Sorry I missed your call. Please leave a message at the time of your call. I'll get back to you right away. Thanks for calling.
See.
The mailbox is full and cannot accept
We're gonna send him. Okay, this is how we're gonna do this. See, I got a backup plan for you.
Uh-oh.
Archon, Roland Martin. I'm sitting there interviewing Earth, Wind, and Fire. And Ralph over there says his bucket list is to fly with the Blue Angels. Philip like, damn that. Radine's like, no, his base can't fit in the plane.
That's right.
So Ralph was like, if you know somebody in the military, he said it's on his bucket list. So I was like, I kind of know somebody in the military. So Ralph, just go ahead and tell him what you want.
I would love to go for a flight with the Blue Angels, and that would wrap it up for me. If that can happen, I'd be one of the happiest people on the planet Earth, Mr. Secretary.
All right, so I know you like Earth, Wind, and Fire, so let me know so I can pass it on. All right, Archon. Let me send it to him right now. All right, we're gonna try to make that happen.
Oh my goodness.
Look, cause hold up, I do know somebody. I know somebody.
Okay.
Let me send this to him right now. Philip, something you really, really want to do you have not done yet.
Really want to do that I have not done yet.
Somebody you want to sing with, something you want to do. What? Somebody you want to play golf
put
with?
together the collab with Earth, Wind, and Fire and Dionne Warwick. We've already,
y'all done that.
We got to do that.
That would be.
Oh, y'all haven't done it.
No, we haven't done it. It's on the list. She really wants it.
Y'all talk to her. Y'all.
Yep.
Okay,
So,
all right.
Good.
So I ain't got to call her.
Right.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right.
If you ask me tomorrow, I'll have a bucket list. Today, I don't have one because things have been going so well with us. It's just been really smooth sailing, and I'm sure I'm going to get there.
So you just flowing.
I'm just flowing.
You like
and I'm hanging out with you because we haven't seen you in a while.
Indeed.
So we just when Ralph said, "Hey, we're going to see Roland," I said, "Great," because I texted you last night, right?
Yes, sir.
I said,
yes,
"I can't
sir.
wait to see you tomorrow."
Well,
so I like to go with the flow.
I got you.
Go with the flow.
Well, look, it's always good seeing y'all. It's always good to chat and hang out. We got to play golf. We got to get that done.
All right.
I am not scuba diving. In the words of
you go to yoga class with me.
In the words, I might do that. I might do the yoga class.
Do that. I'll get you a mat.
I might do the yoga class.
Okay.
But it's like in the words, as soon as you said scuba, I thought what Charles Barkley said when they asked Charles, they said, "Hey, Charles, Tiger likes going scuba diving." He's like, "No, that's why he got his white friends." He's like, "We don't do all that." He said, "We just drink and play golf. We ain't doing all that."
That's funny.
I'm like, "Nah, I'm with you. I'll pass on that scuba diving. I'll leave that to the fishes." I'm like,
I'm telling you, it's a different world for sure.
It is. I let them have their space. I'm good. I told somebody, I said, when I see a fish start walking on the golf course, then I go in that damn ocean going scuba diving.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, look, great to see y'all.
Man, great to see you.
Keep doing it.
Man.
Keep inspiring people. And again, we going to keep dancing as long as the DJ don't be playing techno with September. We be fine.
Yeah, tell them don't do that.
Don't do it.
Don't do that.
All right, then.
All right, now.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Roland.
it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
We
you.
love you.
Thank
Love
you.
you. Thank you.
Thank you.